What is up, guys, and welcome back to the So Rare Road to Glory series, our journey to our first unique card. On today's episode, we are going to be building our lineups for Game Week 385 and also looking back at the card which we just won in Game Week 384. And as always, guys, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. Let's get into the video. Okay, so we did actually win a card last week in Cap 240 Rare. If we go back to game week 383, we ended up finishing 124th in the end. We were only 7.5 points off a tier 3, which is a little bit frustrating, but you can't really moan at hitting ETH and also winning a card as well. And the card which we won does actually have some upside as well. We won this guy here, Takumi Kamijima. Who actually, when he plays, gets some really nice scores. In the last 4 games, he's had an 81 and 88, with 46 AA and also 53 AA as well. And yeah, it looks like he moved from Reysol, where he was a starter, to Yokohama, who I believe are the top team. So I guess he's moved to a better team and not getting as many minutes. But when he does play, he scores really well. So maybe if they get some injuries or he starts to actually work his way into the starting team, he might start to get some more minutes. And with these AA scores, and if you look at this little batch of scores here previously, I think he could be a really good card. I mean, if we look at his price currently, it looks like he's going anywhere between that sort of like 15 and £20 mark. And I don't really need to sell him right now. So yeah, hopefully his price increases, and then yeah, we can either use him or then sell him and then reinvest the funds elsewhere. And then moving on to game week 385, we're going to have a look and see what we've got in Cap 240 first of all, as we always do. And yeah, we're going to build our lineup live on this video, which should be quite fun. So Sean Johnson, obviously, he has 2 games, but he isn't going to start for the States. Matt Turner is the keeper there, and then obviously isn't going to play for Toronto either. So it's going to be Brad Stuver, who's had a few games. His last 15's actually increased quite a bit. If we look at what options we've got here, Arriaga, who we won recently, doesn't start. Kamijima, maybe he in plays. I'm not really too sure. I'll have to do some research on Play Sharper and Sora data, etc. Maybe reach out to a few people on Twitter. Milos has just come back from injury. I think he was on the bench last game, but I'm not comfortable playing him just yet. And then we've got 4 quite expensive players on the last 15 here. We've got Shano away at Montreal, Lovett at home to DC, Brooks Lennon at home to Philly, and then Boxall at home to the Timbers. Normally I go for the cheapest option here just to see what we've got in other areas. So we're going to start with Shano there, and then look at what we've got in midfield here. Bedoya's just come back from injury. I think he got an assist in his last game, so he might be an option at a very low cost. Urso, I'm not touching currently. Chara away at Timbers. Ideally, I want him at home. Pereira's got a good game at home against the Fire. Bradley is still injured, and then Frankie we're looking at selling. He did score twice in the last game. Both goals were a little bit fluky. But he didn't start and his minutes aren't great. So yeah, I'm hoping to sell him on the back of that two goal game. I think here we're going to start with Pereira. So we get a home game in there. And then forward options, Chicharito is obviously out with the ACL. Kyoto is still injured. Ramirez scored last game. Fafa isn't going to play for National. He'll be playing for Haiti against Honduras. Corey Bair's got a difficult game away at Seattle, and then Kevin Molino is playing against the States for Trinidad. So we're going to go for Ramirez here, who's at home against the Red Bulls. And then we do only have 39 points left, so that is going to have to be Bedoya here. Ideally, what I would want to do is if our recent prize, Kamajima plays. They are at home against Shannon Belmare, who I believe aren't that great. Um, and yeah, the best team in the league at home is quite a sort of tasty matchup. So if we do get news that he's going to actually start, we can then take out Shano and put him in. That gives us 13 points on the cap, which is a little bit better there. So we could upgrade Bedoya. Um, how much have we got then? 49, 52 points. So it gives us a little bit of flexibility. Like then, for instance, maybe we play Diego Chara, who's just a better option. And yeah, is always going to play and get a decent sort of average-ish score. We could play Fafa against Honduras. It just gives us a little bit more flexibility if we can play him. If we can't, then we'll just have to stick to this. There's nothing else we can really do just because of the L15s. Currently, we've had a lot of people playing well. So naturally, those L15s have increased. And that leaves us a little bit in a sort of tricky spot to try and fit everyone in here. But, you know, we've got Stuva in a fairly sort of decent matchup. It is obviously not at home, which makes it a little bit more tricky. But Inter Miami are nothing to be scared of. Montreal don't normally score too many goals. Pereira is at home in a great matchup against the Fire. Ramirez at home scored in back-to-back games against the Red Bulls, and then Bedoya. We're just hoping that he can get higher than his L15s. If he can get us between that, 40 and 50 mark, we'll be pretty happy with that. And then we may be able to whack out a Cap 240 rare team, for instance, with a DMP keeper. We can't obviously use Sean Johnson, but we might be able to use. I think we do have a couple of DMPs. Yeah, we'll whack in Marciano here, and then we'll just whack in 4 rares. And if they score very well each, then we might get something here. They'll have to score, like 70 to 80 each, but yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Here we don't really have many options if we're selling a Maya, so it's going to have to be Diego Chada there. We go Corey Baird or Fafa Pickle. I think we go Baird as he scored recently and had quite a good game. And then here, I think we'll go Brooks Lennon or Lovett. I think we go Lovett for the easier fixture against DC. Philly are quite stubborn, and DC a little bit easier there. I don't think we can use anyone else. That's basically it. So yeah, we'll whack that in cap 220. If they all score well, we've got a decent chance there. If they don't, then we'll get some coins anyway. And then we'll obviously put the rest of the players, into training lineups. And then I nearly forgot, we can also obviously do our MLS amateur team. We have a little look at our goalies first of all. Chris Brady is away from home, which is probably not great. And Berkey's got a great matchup at home against the Rapids, so we'll choose Berkey. Defender, we'll go with Wagner just because he's a very good scorer away from home. Obviously, both of these players are going to start. We'll whack in Mukhtar. And then we've got Ramirez, who we've obviously got the rare of at home against the Red Bulls. And then we've got Carlos Hill, sorry, against Cincinnati, which is not a great matchup. But he's the sort of player which can, easily score big in difficult games. He's quite sort of matchup proof, one of the best players in the MLS. So yeah, but we'll whack in him. I think we'll go for the home captaincy here on Mukhtar. And, this is a decent shot, I think. I haven't won anything yet, but I do like this. Obviously Berkey at home, Wagner can score well, Mukhtar at home, Ramirez at home, and then Hill as well. So yeah, overall this has definitely got a shot. Hopefully we can sneak into that sort of tier 5, tier 4 limited range, and then yeah, just see how it goes really. I don't spend too much time on the free to play aspect. Maybe that's an area of my Sorare which I can work on more, especially for next season when we get all of the common teams back. So yeah, hopefully this can win something, and then yeah, that'd be a nice bonus really. And then to finish the video, guys, just wanted to get your thoughts on something. Obviously, I've been planning for the upcoming Euro seasons, looking at how I can make my gallery stronger in that area. And something that I've noticed is that a lot of people are selling off their MLS players quite early, and you can still use these players up until November-ish time. And I was thinking, if you look at some of these players, right, Gaston Brugman here is one of the best scoring mids in the MLS, right? He gets a lot of AA, a really, really solid midfielder. And yeah, he's currently, well, his 2 week average is £125. Let's have a look here. 167, 155, 126. So you could probably get him around that 150 mark. And I was looking at players for the upcoming Euro seasons, and I was like, there is no way I can get this caliber of player for this price in, Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, etc. And their prices have already started to actually rise. Obviously, everyone's buying them ready for the upcoming seasons, right? And I was thinking, is there an opportunity here for me to double down on the MLS, get some really, really good players, and try and win as many cards as possible from now to when their season finishes? If we look at Brugman here, his last game is the 22nd of the 10th. So he's still got a decent amount of fixtures. And yeah, is it worth me doubling down here, buying some of these better players compared to what I could afford in other leagues? And then, yeah, just trying to win as many cards as possible from now till November. And then, obviously, during that point, we're going to be a few months into the Euro seasons. So, yeah, their prices should, in theory, be a little bit lower than at the start of the season. So maybe it's worth me just doubling down, just going all in on the MLS, getting some higher quality players and chucking them into 270s, and yeah, just really trying to win as many cards as possible. The player which sort of sparked this thought was Christian Espinoza. Um, I remember looking at him at the start of the MLS season, like 3 months ago, it must have been, yeah. So his price was sort of around that like £200 mark, and I was thinking he's a pretty good price there anyway. And then yeah, we see that his price has tumbled down and then come down to around that the like 100 to £110 mark. And I know that obviously when you look at his scores, this what is this like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 scores here are worse than this whole period here, but I think this is the perfect time to buy him. The Quakes have some decent options, especially if you compare him with their striker. I think it's Eba Bise, who's around about the £200 mark, I think, currently. Yeah. Like you can get these two players for a combined like £300, which I think is pretty good value. And obviously you get that synergy, right? So I believe Espinosa takes a lot of their set pieces. If Eba Bise gets on the end of one of those, you get the assist and also the goal. So yeah, I'm just sort of working out what my strategy is going to be moving forwards. Yeah, either going really hard on MLS or just slowly moving into those new upcoming Euro seasons. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think is the best steps forwards for me. It'd be great to get some feedback because obviously Sorare is very similar to football in that everyone's got their own views and opinions. And yeah, that will really help me make a choice. And obviously, as usual, guys, thank you very much for watching. All of your support is much appreciated. It's crazy that we're on 58 subscribers and there's 58 of you that want to, sit here and watch me rambling about football. That's always cool to see. And yeah, that's going to be all for today's video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know any questions in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow for our next Sarah video.